live from the Purple Cow Branding Studios.
Welcome to Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
making money.
Faster, everybody, faster. Get in the fast lane. I'm Sheryl Powers.
Room. I'm Rob Bliss.
That's right. You live in the fast lane, don't you?
Room, yes.
You like
Go, 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 go.
Man. Well, if you haven't tuned in, we welcome you. So if this is your first time, welcome. We have some first-time guests all the time.
All the time.
I'm always talking to people like, I just happened that last episode. It was so good. So tap into all the other episodes. So you can go to networktodaydfw.com.
Yes.
You can see them in the episode list. We have a topic, and I don't know if we've even featured on the website. I don't even know if it says it on the website, but it needs to because it's super important. The theme for the year is networking stop. Right, because we want you to stop networking.
Yes.
We want you to start doing life together, having authentic relationships and conversations. And that's what a large part of, I think, what we're going to talk about today with the topic today.
Yes.
And that is giving is living.
And we've got such a great guest, too.
Oh,
I mean, I love this
a living
guy.
example.
Oh, he is. I mean, I love the guy. He
Yes.
is so good.
Yes. And so really it's all born out of having a philanthropic heart, right? Attitude about giving. But not everybody's born with a giving attitude, are they?
Right. But no, I think there's so much pressure in today's fast-paced world out there that we tend to forget about it. You know, we're always, going 90 miles an hour. And again, it's something that we're losing it's becoming a lost habit, really.
Yes. So interesting you say that because, I love to Google articles, right? So this is an article that was done by, it looks like a German fellow because he mentions Berlin, and his name is Jordan, Junge. So young, I'm going to say, probably.
Okay. Uh-huh.
I took German in college. I think I know, right? But anyway, but one of the things that they mention in his website, the name of their networking kind of concept is called SIX, right? Like the number 6 is spelled out. socialinnovationexchange.org. And one of the things they talk about is they've abandoned the term networking because they feel it says something that's transactional.
Right. I agree. Totally agree. I love that.
Yeah, we are network today, so we have to find some way around that.
Whoopsie-daisy.
But what they're trying to do is move toward more of those natural, organic, authentic conversations with people so that we build community, right? So it's more of they want to build community collaboration through philanthropy.
But point in our logo, Sheryl, it says changing the networking mindset.
That's right.
So that we can ponder on that for a moment, how to sort of take it to the next step.
That's right. So, and they talk about philanthropy or giving, actually building, I loved this term, social currency.
Ooh, like that. I'm going to write that one down.
Because what do you do with currency?
You either spend it or save it.
That's right. But either way, you get something back for it.
Yes.
Right? You're investing it.
Okay.
Or you're exchanging it for something else.
Right.
And so I really thought that was a great mindset to go into the whole giving mindset. And some people are born a little, as you mentioned, born a little more selfish and because of the pressure.
Right.
And others are just born with I'm going to give you my lollipop. You get both of my lollipops, right?
Yeah.
And you see other kids, they're like, all my lollipop. You get none of my lollipop.
Right.
So it's just fascinating that, we either culturally, it's built into us or just naturally we are attracted to one or the other, right? Being not a giver or being a giver. So I think this is just going to be a great conversation. Yes, our guest. You want to say his name?
Victor Johnson.
Oh my gosh. Woo, this is going to be so fun. He just brings such a fresh perspective. I've always liked him from the minute I met him. Just likability out the room. So
such a giving heart.
Yeah, that's right. So, and if you are new, if this is your first time, then just know that we're going to get to Victor, but after we go through our Grand Slam.
Yes.
So Grand Slam is our big success story of the week. Sometimes it's monetary, sometimes it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just being a giver.
Yes.
So that's always good. And then at the end, we're going to have some action items for you and some additional resources. But again, I encourage you to go to that socialinnovationexchange.org. That was really a good article by Jordan. And there are groups that, as I was doing my research, that are all about helping people build a network through philanthropy. And yeah, so and I think that's just a cool approach, instead of it just being, hey, I'm gonna volunteer for Habitat for Humanity, for instance, right? I'm just gonna go because I feel like I need to give in. You can actually build that to find like-minded people, like-hearted people,
Right.
so that you can begin to reciprocate both in life, and then perhaps business comes out of it.
No, absolutely. I really like that concept. Again, it's getting you focused on what your likes are, what your passions are, and then you can help your community, help yourself,
Right.
and then in the long term, you're building this network.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we come back, we've got our Grand Slam. Summerfest 2023. Are you ready, Rob?
What's the date, Sheryl?
It is 6/23, TK's in Addison. This is all day or half a day. You pick newbies in the morning, that's level 1. Advanced season networking veterans in the afternoon, that's level 2. Or you can do both, lunch, breakfast, and post-networking happy hour and author meet and greet. Are you ready for that?
I'm ready.
I
Can't
am
wait.
too.
All-star
I am too.
lineup.
That's right. Network Today Live, Summerfest 2023 on 6/23. We'll see you there. So, Grand Slam time. Love it. It's springtime. I know we're thinking about things that are fun and over the fence and ballpark driven. And so this is just
Blue skies, the temperature's just right to play baseball.
That's right. Hot dogs, peanuts.
There you go. And again, I love this part of the show because, again, it's a sense of, and especially for today's episode, giving and learning. My example today is about giving to the Chamber of Commerce, giving to our community. So want me to continue there, Sheryl?
Please, since you started.
Well, a part of my one of my roles at the chamber is I'm a volunteer, and I'm called an ambassador, and it's out there helping promote the Farmers Branch Chamber of Commerce. And I go out just about every week with my cohort Deborah, and our goal is to knock on 10 new doors every week and introducing these business owners to the Chamber of Commerce. So, we ask them questions like, have you ever joined or belonged to a chamber? And it's about, how we give back to the community. And the neat thing, I really am enjoying this because we're meeting so many new people. And surprisingly enough, we're meeting a lot of people that have not been involved in the chamber, which is really, again, I kind of expected that. But again, it's really when you believe in something with so much passion, that how much good the chamber does for small business owners, what it does for people individually, it really, and I get inspired every week because of this. And when we drop off a chamber package, and our goal is again to invite them to chamber events.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But again, it's the whole thing of just giving back to our community, of getting people involved, because I know if they get involved in the chamber, it's going to help their business out. Or it might not even be a business thing. It might be just introducing them to other people.
Right.
Or maybe it's a time in their business plan where they want to give back to the community. And again, a chamber is a great way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Last week was, we had 10 great calls. Of the 10 calls, we actually talked to 8 people, and we set 2 or 3 appointments for them to talk to the president of the chamber, Grace. So It was really a great week. It was a fun week, but it's all about, giving to these small business owners and helping them out. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, I think too, it helps keep people on track, because when you're running a business, you run a business, and it's easy just to get lost in the weeds.
Yes.
And forget about the community that surrounds you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just so lovely that you and so many others spend time really helping cultivate that, keep the business owners on task with growing their community so their business grows too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
instead of every person on their own. Good luck to you. So I love it. I love the whole chamber community. So mine is all about our networking community. And you know, the network group that we talk about a lot, Mid-Market Professionals.
Right.
And I manage the DFW area, but I run the Dallas along with two of my cohorts, Dan Nye and Ron Kennedy. Well, my word of the year, personally, my word of the year is delegate. Not to be confused with my Network Today word of the week, which I'll share with you here in a minute. But my personal word of the year is delegate. And because I really have to get better at delegating things to other people so that I can get back to doing my own life, right? So because we're not helping our networking community. We're not helping the community around us if we're just trying to do it all.
Yeah. Because
Right?
you can't do it all.
You can't do it all, not
No,
effectively,
not
and you
effective.
can't grow.
Right.
And we can't help other people grow. So the goal is to ultimately help other people grow by delegating to them so they can start taking on new things. Well, I love where we're taking things in 2023, but the reason I wanted to bring up Mid-Market Professionals is that we recently had our Thursday event, and Dan Nye and Russell Duckworth spoke on banking and the economy. And it was just so great to take two amazing partners of mine and have them take the floor and help people understand what's happening in today's very nutty, very rocky. You know, right now we have
Right.
more banks being taken over by the FDIC. And so it was just really great to see the part of my community that was also pouring into our community and elevating everybody.
Wow.
And it was a packed house, and everybody left feeling more energized and edified in regards to the banking system, and hopefully too elevated them.
Sure.
Because
absolutely.
Dan Nye has never spoke to our group, right?
Oh, wow.
I know,
Okay,
as long as we've been doing it, he's never taken that role. And so anyway, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Russell. I appreciate y'all. It was just that was a great meeting that you missed, Rob. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. But hey, I want to give you one point. I love your word delegate.
Yeah.
But that reminds me, there's a great book in Rob's library that was brought to me by one of our good friends and fellow networkers, Sean Rosensteel. And the book is called Who, Not How.
Yes.
And it talks about this whole delegation thing.
Yeah.
Where the great thing about that book is that it's written by Dan Sullivan, and he didn't write a word of the book.
So he brought in partners that all took, and he put it together, right?
Exactly. His concepts, his wisdom, his knowledge, his expertise.
Yeah.
But he did not write one word of the book. So that reminded me of your powerful word of the year, delegate.
And I have that book in my own library closet that I haven't opened yet. I haven't cracked it yet, but I will, because it is important. It's important that we make everybody else better so that we're better in turn.
Absolutely.
Right. So then
Absolutely.
everybody's winning.
Yes.
So hey, when we come back, it's the incredible, amazing, what's the word I'm looking for? Unchallenged purveyor of all things giving.
Yes.
And that would be
He's the man.
Victor Johnson.
He is the man.
That's right. When we come back. Let's face it, employees waste time on the company dime. Why? Life's complicated. We help keep the junk of life out of the workplace and in the hands of the experts. Empowered Advantage, empowering employees, giving businesses the advantage. Letter M as in magnificent, poweredadvantage.com. Victor Vonico Johnson.
It is I. Yes.
I feel like it's a boxing match. Yes. I'm so excited because I just love hanging with you.
Yes.
You always have the best smile. Best smile.
Best
Thank you.
smile
award.
ever.
Thank you.
Yeah, we should have given him a little thing to drape around his neck.
Well, and I love him
Best
on
smile award.
LinkedIn, Sheryl. I follow him a lot. He's got great posts, and what it really, he has that sense of community because he's so involved with these different programs. And I'm glad we're having this program today with him.
That's
you.
right.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invite.
And it's giving is living because
Giving
you
is-
live this.
This is true.
So let me tell you a little bit about Victor, and then you can expand on how this has played a part, a pivotal role in your professional life. But you donate all the time. So
I
you
do.
said you were donating to HOAs right now,
Yes,
right?
yes. So I'm on the Neighborhood Advisory Commission for City of Carrollton. So I donate tons of time to work with the communities to make sure that they are getting the needs that they want for their community, the grants and dollars like that for their HOAs.
I love it. So working with Junior Achievement.
Yes, I work in junior achievement for the last 4 years. I've been going to different high schools, middle schools, and speaking to them about financial literacy, about entrepreneurship and leadership.
All right. Dallas College as well.
Dallas College as well, same thing, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, and leadership.
And the Frisco Youth Entrepreneur Academy.
Yes, so that was a fun one because we worked with the kids on business plans and learning how to present their business to prospective investors.
Ooh.
Yeah,
very
You
nice.
can't learn too young.
You never can learn, not in this society, no, you cannot.
Get a leg up from Victor. So you want to connect with him. So it's Victor Vonico. You want to spell Vonico?
Vonico, Vonico.
Johnson. So
Mhm.
Victor Vonico Johnson.
Yes.
And let me give you a little background professionally on him. You're going to see this on LinkedIn when you connect with him. So he's a professional speaker, facilitator, published author, youth advocate. We just explored that. Real estate entrepreneur. And I love, and I know we'll dive into this a little, how you've taken this and really pouring it back into the real estate community, leveraging what you've learned and duplicating that in others.
Yes.
Love inspiring others and leading teams through the Nico Don Project.
Yes.
And in the past, TMX Finance family of companies, second round, Easy Corp. Good golly.
Yeah.
You look like you're fresh out of
I've
college.
lived 2 lives already, trust me.
Wow,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. 17 years in corporate and then the last 5 years as a full-time entrepreneur.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah,
good
interesting.
Lord.
Yes.
So I'm anxious to know, Victor, at what juncture through this professional journey of yours did you say, I need to really start pouring into the community, not just to get back, ultimately that's going to happen, but you felt like that was a pivotal part of the process.
So it was interesting. Obviously I grew up in a way where my family was always involved with community. And so I had people around me teaching me, hey, your community is really where you should be thriving. Your kids will come behind you and they want to have a better life than, you probably had. So it was always there. I didn't actively pursue it though until I became a full-time entrepreneur when I had to get out and network to build my business, right? And so I realized that there were more ways to network than just asking for business, right?
Yeah.
It's helping others to grow their business and then they build trust in you to, hey, this guy's pretty okay. And hey, by the way, I got a referral I could send him because he helped me out already. But just doing those different networking opportunities, I probably had a few people nudge me closer to my city to make sure that I was involved with Carrollton in different ways. And so that's kind of where it started. I would say 2019 when I went full-time as an entrepreneur.
Wow.
Yeah.
And your wife too.
Yes, my wife, Latasha Johnson, top producing realtor here in the DFW. But she is more of a giver than me. I mean, she is one of those folks that is slow to take, but very quick to give. And, I fell in love with her because of that. And she's always involved. She's not as outspoken as I am, but she loves to give behind the scenes. And that's really what she's all about.
Hey, it's teamwork makes a dream work.
That's it.
Yes. Now we're talking about giving through living, right?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of inspires you? What has made that kind of that dominant feature of your personality that we see?
So honestly, so many others have given to me their time, their expertise, sometimes in financial capacities. And I realize how much it's benefited my life. And so the natural thing to do is now give back to others in a natural way. I grew up as a Christian, so we were always involved with giving to less fortunate or people in our community that might have fallen on hard times. And that's what this is all about. It's really about, I believe we're all here to serve. I mean, the planet doesn't rotate without somebody serving someone else. And it becomes like a ripple effect, Rob. It's like you give to somebody kind of like in the driveway of the Chick-fil-A or something. You buy somebody's breakfast and then the next thing you know, somebody's buying the next car of breakfast. It's just a ripple effect. And when we're giving to each other that way, it just makes us all better. And
Yes.
it makes me feel good to see that I've helped somebody move forward in whatever they're working on.
So, was there a timeline in which you're pouring in and you didn't feel like something's coming back to you?
Oh, there's plenty of times that way. I mean, but when you read, I don't know if it's a maturity level or just a point in your life where you're like, it's not all about you, guy. It's just not all about you anymore. And I would say probably within 6 months of my full-time entrepreneur journey, I realized that, in corporate, when I was out networking, it was always to drum up business for the company or to meet somebody at a higher level in the company so I could try to work my way up the ladder. But when you're out here on your own, you realize that there's a lot of us out here kind of doing our thing to grow our business. And it just makes you feel better when you're helping somebody else through a networking connection, through a piece of information that they didn't know that you came across. And it makes my day feel better when I lay down and say, this was a full day. I actually helped 3 or 4 people out. Some business came my way that I didn't expect. Most of the time it happens that way. I'm pursuing a connection maybe initially for a certain reason. And then I realize, hey, I just want to help that person. They got a good spirit. And then 3 months later, I get a contact with somebody that knew that person that knew that person. But that's, again, how it works. It just rotates around unexpectedly.
Well, there was a great word that you used in there over and over and over again. That was person.
Yes.
Right? So I was just talking to Kenny Lang, and he said one of the things that you all do on your podcast that's different than other networking podcasts. I didn't know there were other networking podcasts, honestly. Okay, so there was that news.
Right.
But he said you really talk about having relationships, building those, nurturing those, as opposed to it being, hey, here's your set of do's and don'ts. And I do think that that's important because in any of our lives, we've learned at some point, if you're just transactional, you're a commodity.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right? So you've taken it into an actionable, real person.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you. And that's why you're winning.
Well, thank you. And I think when we stop thinking about being successful, the next thing becomes, how do I be significant? And I think that's what's helped me to, I want my kids to be proud, or my grandkids to be proud of the man that I was, not just because I had transactions. They won't remember the transactions. They'll know the people that I made a difference in their lives. And that's what I want my kids to be able to see.
Well, that's awesome. Now, you know how I always like to promote Rob's library?
Of course.
So, and this is such a great topic. Giving is living. Name 1 or 2 books that sort of have influenced you for this kind of philosophy of yours.
So I've got to remember, I got that statement about significance, being significant, from a John C. Maxwell book, and it's slipping my mind right now, the title of it, but that's for sure one. There's, of course, my favorite Joel Osteen's book is The Best Life, or This Best Life is a good one.
Okay.
And so he talks a lot about giving back and things like that. And let's think of one more. There's actually one from Steve Harvey, and it's not Think and Grow Rich, but Think Like a Business Owner or something to that effect. I might be off a little bit, but
I'm gonna check
so
that
those
one
are
out.
3 that I kind of dug out, but yes.
Well, good.
I honestly start looking for that in almost any book that I read. You can find those little nuggets that somebody might be talking about how to be a great salesperson, but there's always a story of somebody who gave to them in some capacity or poured into them. So I always recognize those little nuggets when I'm reading, for sure.
Well, and I want to recommend a book out of the library by a local author, a friend of mine, Rich Cavanis.
Okay.
I don't know if you know Rich.
I'm not familiar with
But he's got a great book called The Gratitude Effect. And maybe after the show, we can wander down to Rob's library and take a look at that. I'd like you to see that.
Thank you. Yeah, that'd be nice.
So one of the components here as we wrap up this portion of the conversation, and I think that's really important, is that everybody wants to know like the end result. But so we can't say, hey, we're going to give and we want an ROI on that, right? We just know that that's the law of reciprocity. That's the law that's built into your heart. Is that, hey, I know I'm going to give, and whatever happens from that, it's got to be good on some level.
That's true.
How many team members have you been able to? So you have a team, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
you built that team through giving into their life, duplicating
Yes.
what you all
Yes.
have learned, you and your wife and others
Mhm.
have learned, and helping other people start their own journey
Yes.
similar to yours. How many is that now?
Wow. Um,
Oh,
a few
yes.
dozen. I would say just a wild guess, 72.
Okay,
You know,
72.
I mean,
Oh, that's a nice
over the
number.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because, I know I've had turnover with different team members, but even people who have left the team have gone on to do other things. And I pride myself on staying in contact with people because I just like to see their progress. And so if I'm taking a wild guess, I'd say 72, Sheryl.
72. That's a lot of duplication. That's a
Yes.
lot of
Yes.
giving.
Yes.
And that's a great life to live.
It is.
To know that you've helped that
Yeah.
many people.
That
That's
is
awesome.
Yeah. And that's between corporate and in my entrepreneur
Yeah.
walk for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, not to mention all the kids and so you want to make
Oh,
sure you
yeah.
connect with Victor.
Yeah.
And again, I LinkedIn, is there
Yes,
another place that you really
LinkedIn.
like people to
Mhm.
connect with you?
For sure.
Okay.
That's a great way.
Okay.
Or bethevictor.us is my website. It's
Okay.
got all my handles on there for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. And a little known fact about yourself
Oh, boy.
as we wrap this up.
Oh boy.
Something that would make Rob's hair stand up.
A little known fact. So many moons ago, I was a manager for a singing group called Slick and Rose. It was two young ladies out of Atlanta during the neo soul kind of era 20 years ago. And we released an album in Japan. And I was actually able to mentor a group of like up and coming managers in Japan during that time. It was really strange. I'm not in contact with those folks anymore, but pretty interesting stage in my
Wow.
life because I always
Yeah.
wanted to be, in the music industry.
Great.
So we released an album. And there's small trickles of royalties that come in every once in a while from that album. But
All
that was
right.
a very fun fact and an interesting time in my life.
So could we go to YouTube or can we go to
Yep.
some kind of
Slick and Rose.
Slick
and Rose.
Slick and
All
Rose.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Very
That's so-
smooth music, too. Great songwriters.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
yes.
so fun.
Wonderful.
Yes, interesting.
So Victor's going to be joining us and spearheading the panel on the reciprocity recipe. And now you know why we picked him for that, right? So
Yes.
it's NTL Summerfest 2023 on 6/23. You want to be there because you're going to be spearheading this panel discussion, which will be beautiful in the level 2 section, which is the afternoon section
Mhm.
of this particular event.
I'm excited.
I know you're
Yes.
getting. Oh my gosh, it's
This
going to
will
be so
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be so
I hear
fun.
there's a lot of smiling faces that you've brought for this event.
That's
So,
right.
yeah, I'll fit right in.
Yeah, because he wants to be with somebody that you have to say, turn that frown upside down.
There you
There you go.
Never
There you
the
go.
case with you.
Never,
so,
never.
Hey, we appreciate you. Everybody's got their
Yes,
mug,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Hey,
Boom.
hey.
Cheers.
Thank
Cheers to
you.
more smiles
That's
in the
right.
miles.
That's right.
All right. We'll be back.
A small business is still a business. At Purple Cow Branding, we want to help you execute your greatest visions for your company. Purple Cow works for small businesses that don't have big budgets to spend on their marketing efforts. Inquire now at purpleCowBranding.com to be the biggest little guy around. Purple Cow Branding, much more than digital marketing.
All right. So Victor he just lifts me up. And I'm so excited about the topic that he's going to be leading the panel discussion on for our 6/23 Summerfest conference.
I know it.
Gonna
I mean,
be awesome.
I mean, he's just an all-star.
Yeah.
And this is, this is just the perfect topic for him. You know, when I follow him on LinkedIn, and every week you just hear him writing about, some organization that he's
Right.
helping out on, that
Yeah.
he's giving to, what he's giving back to his community.
Yeah.
Yeah. So powerful.
So here's my word of the week for Network Today.
Okay.
It's magnanimous.
Ooh,
I know.
I don't think I can spell that.
Well, I was going to say generous, but then I always like to look up the word because what's the definition of generous in your mind?
You're generous. It's you're kind. You're giving. I think those are the two first words.
Sharing and showing an act of kindness, I think
Yeah.
is what it says. But it also says magnanimous.
Magnanimous.
Right. But and it uses the word magnum. I can't see it. Hang on. Here we go.
That's a
Here we
tough
go.
one.
I know. Hang on.
Magnanimity.
There we go.
Whoa.
Magnanimity.
Say that 3 times
That's
fast.
right.
Whoa.
Magnanimity. And I don't know that I've ever really thought about that word before, magnanimity, or magnanimous. You hear it, and sometimes it just kind of becomes clamoring around you, like it just really loses its meaning, but it means generous. So it's a word I'm going to stew on all week. I hope that as you're listening to this show that you stew on that as well, as we talk about, giving is living and incorporating more. I want to incorporate more giving words into my vocabulary, my vernacular. So there we go. That's my word of the week. But I want to ask you a question, Rob.
Okay.
What are some of the ways in your life, not just right now, what are some of the ways in your life that you feel there's been a philanthropic effort that was really pivotal or game-changing for you, elevating for you in your life?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is I really can't, it's not one event.
Okay.
Through the networking community, and as you're getting to, you build relationships and you're getting to know people, you hear their stories of how they contribute back in the community. And again, I was just, really in awe of all these people, not just one or two. Yeah. So many people out there that give back that finally I had, kind of one of those, big moments where you look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm just not doing anything like these people are.
Yeah.
And so that was like that aha moment where I had to say, I've got to start doing this. I'm in the 4th quarter of my career.
Right.
And it's always been just hustle, hustle, hustle for myself, for my business. And then, it was really hearing these stories. It's, it's going to and meeting these people. I got mid-market professionals.
Yeah.
And where you got a high caliber professional, a person there, and you hear these wonderful stories, I just said, I've got to do something about it.
Yeah.
And that's when, again, the aha moment, the light bulb went off. And then I think the timing was when I moved my office into Farmers Branch. And then I got the visit from the president of the chamber to encourage me to join the chamber.
That's good. That's good. Well, and I know it's been a big part of your life and continues to be. And I'll tell you, for me, one of the big philanthropic kind of aha moments, I've always gone to church. Right. I always participated as an attendee, but I stopped going and I started doing. Right. And they're such a huge difference maker to me in regards to helping build the community. So I volunteer on our media team. I happen to like, radio, obviously. Right. And so I said, hey, anything, I'm really familiar with boards, sound boards and things like that. So happy to volunteer any way I can. And so I started working in through lights and then now on graphics and being a part of a team, though. So it wasn't just, I love to learn. So that was kind of the first thing. So if I can learn, I can serve, that's great. But then when you become part of a team.
Yes.
And you build a community internally, and then you can help the whole system be better, hopefully a little bit, most of the time, by your support system, by giving of your time. Man, my husband and I talk about this, that it's changed how we view church in our life, right? But it could be anything. It could be just being a part of your community. It could be being a part of school. Instead of just sending your kids to school, be school, be in school with them, do school with them.
Right, right.
So getting involved really is a perspective changer. So now instead of complaining about, I hate those communion crackers, you know what I mean? Now I know internally why decisions are made and, how things can go wrong or what, how important it is to lift people up when they're doing right. And so I just for me, that was not going, but now doing.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, absolutely.
That was a game changer for me. And I'd never be without it now. Like I couldn't just ever go to church or school or anything without now being a volunteer on some level.
Well, and I think that whole goes back to our human nature where, we need to be around people.
Yeah.
And then we need that sense of purpose.
Yep.
And again, that's why, we're both of us were so involved in getting this networking thing so we can really elevate everybody's skill set. But yeah, we've got to find that sense of purpose. And exactly, I love your story there. It's just every time you get involved, I got involved with the chamber.
Yeah.
Boom, it's people.
Yeah.
It's purpose.
And that's business driven, right? It's commerce driven.
Mhm,
That's the whole purpose of it. And church, not necessarily. However,
Yeah.
there are always professionals that you find are, oh my gosh, this guy in this role that really understands this particular thing. I can say, I pinched him for information. Hey, could I get a second set of eyes on this?
Right.
Right? Can you give me some advice on this? And that's just been beautiful, right? People that I didn't know before that, and then I'm able to take this team, this group, and then bless some of my businesses by going and doing things at their business, right? So it comes full circle if you're intentional and if you really do show up, you're doing and not just going. So hopefully that helps. It all makes sense. I know you got some action items. Let's wrap this thing up.
Okay, let's wrap this up. 3, again, being motivated by Victor here. Action item number 1. Remember to place others first. Think about others, not just, it's not about me. So think about others first. Number 2 is offer yourself. I think, everyone has that feeling of, I'm not worthy.
Right.
But there's so much about everyone that they can contribute.
Yeah.
So offer yourself first. And again, have the joy of helping people.
Can I stop right there too?
Yeah,
because I think this is really, as also the reciprocal of this is when people offer themselves to you. I think it's incumbent upon us from the philanthropic side, from the giving side, to receive so that we don't rob them of the ability to give.
Absolutely. And that's number 3.
Oh, okay.
By giving, stay open to receiving.
There you go.
So see, that inspired you to think about that. And that's so true. We've got to stay open to receiving.
Yeah.
That sometimes we kind of feel guilty about that, but no.
Yeah.
It's because that's making the other person
Yeah.
feel of value. So it's great. I'm glad you said that.
That's right. I had somebody tell me this years ago, and they said, Sheryl, don't rob me of the blessing. And I thought, I've never really thought about it like that. But it's okay.
Absolutely.
Hey, bless me. I'll take it. So I stopped being shamed by it or feeling like, somebody else could use that. No, they wanted to give it to me. They wanted to do it for me.
Yes.
And now I'm happy to receive. So, but this is such a good episode. It really does hopefully help get you recentered as you listen to this, as you ponder this. And as you do, go to info@networktodaydfw.com. We want to hear from you. And I'll tell you, I'm hearing from people, Rob, and you're probably hearing the same thing. You're saying, hey, Sheryl, I just heard that last episode and it was almost life-changing for me. We never know. So sometimes we think it's just a little thing but for some people, they really needed to hear that nugget.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. That's why I enjoy doing this each week. Again, it's that whole thing of giving, helping people.
Yeah. And I was asked today by a gentleman who I was meeting with. It was a referral from somebody. So Brian Childress, and we were talking about how important it is to give and to receive. And he says, do you know that book, The Go-Giver? And I was like, do I know it? Rob lives by it. The Go-Giver. That's
right here.
That's right. Yes. We talk about it often. But it is funny. And he was asking me, so how do you even make money on networking, right? And I said, just listen to the show. So we invite you in.
All right.
And we will be back next week. Another outstanding. We got quite a lineup, especially as we gear up for the 623 conference.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that you've got a subscription and that to our email site so that you can get all the information all the time and bring all your friends because it's going to be a packed event.
Yeah, check those details again. Get yourself registered. Early bird special.
That's
still going on.
Cheers to you, my friend.
All right. Have a great week,
to
Sheryl.
Another one, Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
making money
faster. And we'll see you next week.
This has been a Purple Cow production.